is on Friday, and I will be 37 years old. And something that I've been doing for the past, I'd say 4 years, probably since like 33, maybe even 32, I've been a lot more intentional about how I spend my time in the process. I've been a lot more process in my 30s than I was, in my 20s. I've been figuring things out, I've been putting them together, and I've been a lot more in my 30s than I was in my 20s. And so, what I've been doing for the majority of my 30s is reflecting yearly, multiple times. So, obviously, one time you reflect on the year is at the end of the year, December 31st. But there's a second time I reflect on my year, and that's on my birthday. There's also a like I kind of like chunk years up now. So I look at January, the first month of every year, just by itself. But then I also look at the 4 quarters of the year, right? I break it down into chunks, you know. And so there's the first 3 months, the second three, which is six half the year. Then there's a third and the fourth. I break the year down into fourths. And so recently, I also looked at now that 6 months of the year is gone. Where am I on my goals? So those are what? One, two, three. Those are 6 times in the year where I specifically look at where am I at and how am I progressing in relation to my goals. And so one of those times is upon us. Friday, I'm turning 37 years old. And I got to tell you, I'm very excited for my birthday. This may sound random, but for whatever reason, for the last few years, I've had a strong desire to want to visit Nashville, Tennessee. Honestly, I can't tell you why, but that's just something I wanted to do for the last 2 years. And so, my lady, I don't know the whole itinerary. All I know is we're going to the airport tomorrow, and we're going to be in Nashville, Tennessee for my birthday. So, hey, man, I'm blessed with a good one. I promise you, I did not plan my birthday at all. I did not contribute to it in any way. All I had to do is show up. And the only reason I know I'm going is because she just told me this morning because I needed to pack. That's literally the only thing I had to worry about in relation to my birthday. Packing for the trip that my lady planned for me. You know? Only reason I bring that up is to let you know, listen, man, there's good women out here, but I don't want to get into that. So, I'm very excited for the activities I'm going to be having on my birthday, right? But, like I said, I reflect on my birthday and several other times throughout the year. And so, reflecting on turning 37, I had a desire to look at my parents' obituaries because both of my parents passed away when I was really young, right? So when I'm looking at them, I'm just going over the years again, and I see Pops died at 40, Mom's died 43, right? And here I am turning 37. And not to mention them, but also like some of my regular aunts and uncles. Shout out to y'all. Here, make sure I hit the like button, man. All right. So I'm looking at this thing, saying, you know what? And it's something that a lot of us don't really think about all that much. But you don't determine fully how long you're going to be here. obviously there are choices and decisions and lifestyles you can live that potentially can prolong how long you're on earth, but ultimately you don't really decide fully how long you're going to be here. And so me, looking at how young both of my parents were when they got out of here, obviously you start to think about yourself and your own mortality. And ultimately, my ultimate takeaway for 37 and beyond is I need to live life a lot more. There are so many things I need to see, so many things I can taste, so many things I can do, so many places I can go, so many experiences I can experience. And I need to focus on all of that because at the end of the day, we don't know how long we're going to be here. If you were to ask my parents, neither one of them thought that, hey, at 40, 43 years old, they're going to be up out of here. None of them thought that. But that's exactly what happened. And so that's my focus for 37 and beyond. And that's what I want a lot of you to focus on. And that's why you don't have time for a lot of this stuff. Listen, you, me, all of us, we have one life. Why on earth would we waste our lives focusing on DDG and Holly Bailey? The one life that we have, why would we spend it focused on the Diddy trial unless you are directly financially benefiting from covering it for other people? But if you are a consumer, why you get one life and you don't know when it's over? Why are you focused on that? There's a lot of people right now focused on Love Island. It's DDG and Holly Bailey. It's the Diddy trial. It's Love Island. It's Housewives. It's the streamers, so forth and so on. But once again, with this one life that we all got, you want to spend yours focusing on what other people are doing with theirs as opposed to focusing on what you are doing with yours? That's what I started to think about as I reflected on 37 years. I said, hey, my parents didn't live much longer than this. And that's not to say it's going to happen to me, but it's like, it is to say, why are you acting like you just got all this time when ultimately you don't determine it? You don't determine how much time you get. It's not up to you. But what you do have is right now. What are you going to do with your right now? That's what happened to my mind, you know? Friday, I'm going to be 37 years old, and the message for myself and for everybody else for the second half of 2025 is, what are you doing with your right now? Because ultimately, that's all that you have for sure. The only thing you have for sure is right now. I know there's some people out there, you told them, hey, I'll call you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll talk to you next week. I'm going to holler at you. See you at work on Monday. See you here. See you. I know you made all these plans with all these other people. Or you got all these different times and dates and events in your mind of when you're going to do this and when you're going to do that and when you're going to see this person and when you're going to see that person. But the truth is, the only thing for sure is right now. That's the only thing you know you got for sure right now. What are you doing right now? That's the message that I'm going to be replaying for myself over and over again for the rest of this year. What are you doing with right now? What better time than now? Don't you know what's crazy? We take later for granted as if it's guaranteed. Let me say that again. We take later for granted as if it's guaranteed. We throw away now like we can just get another now just because we want to. And then we take later for granted as if it's guaranteed. Think about how much time we are wasting. We don't even value right now because we think we always gonna have another right now. And we take later for granted because we think there's always gonna be later. But guess what? One day ain't gonna be no later. As I've always said as a kid, one day you gonna go to sleep and you ain't gonna wake up. One of the reasons why I don't really take naps like that is because, hey, when I'm going up out of here, I'm gonna have all the time in the world to sleep. I'm not saying I don't sleep at all. I'm just saying, like, you know how some people love to take a nap? I don't love to take naps. If it's necessary that I get some rest, I'll take a nap. But I don't love the nap. Why would I love to sleep when I have life? One day you're gonna be gone and you're gonna get all the sleep you ever gonna need. So I don't look forward to sleeping, you know. But what that's my focus from 37 on forward, from July 2025 on forward. What are you doing with the now? The only thing guaranteed to you is now. Stop planning stuff for later as if you can ensure you're going to be there. Stop designating important things for later when you can make yourself be there later. All you can do is hope and pray. But you know what you got for sure? Now. The only sure thing in this world is now. And that's what I'm taking with me to 37 and beyond. The importance of